Necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417, let your wellness be our stress.
You're watching MBC.
Good night, St. Lucia. Welcome to another episode of Police Insight. I am your host, Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. I'd like to say good night to our Police Commissioner, Mr. Daisy. How you doing, sir? Good night to our deputies. Ms. Pelios, how you doing? Dr. Seeley, good night to you. The rest of the executive, Mr. O'Brien, good night to you. How you doing, Mr. Nicholas? How's everything? I hope all is well with you. All Gazette officers, inspectors, sergeants, corporals, constables, both senior and junior, special police constables, special reserve officers, good night to you. Ex-police officers, thank you for the service you've given to your country. City police, I'd like to say good night to you guys. All those who assist in law enforcement around the country, our brothers and sisters, Bodley Correctional Facility, Fire Service Department, Customs, Port Police, good night to you all. Another night of Police Insight, and I already see the usuals on the Facebook chat, so I might as well say good night to you guys. You guys are always supporting there so early. Genevieve Alexander, good night to you. Don Murray McDonald, how you doing, my dear? Victor C. Anthony, good night to you. Candida Daniel, Kidron C. Gustav, the winner, Kidron Gustav, also Gustav. Well, you could hear me talking to my guest already. I have not introduced him, but Mr. Gustav, congratulations to you, because you were the one, you were nominated for the Police Insight Frontliner Father's Day Award, and you emerged the winner. So very soon we will be contacting you. NBC is putting together an excellent ceremony to award all the winners and also the nominees actually who took part, who were nominated. I understand there were so many votes from across the island. So good job, guys. Princess Emmanuel, Travis Donovan, Marceline, Flavius, Kingsonja, Jim Joseph, Mr. Jim Joseph, good night to you. Thank you guys for logging in. I have a very interesting and esteemed guest tonight. He's no stranger to Police Insight. But before I introduce him, Some notable mentions, stuff that has happened for the past week. I'd like to say congratulations to all the special police constables who were promoted last Friday. 64 of you were promoted to Police Constable 1. So congratulations to you. And there was especially, I think, 10 special promotions where individuals who have passed the age of 45 years old were given the opportunity to be at the rank of Police Constable 1. My guest is going to react to that, because, there are some, that's sparked a bit of a debate within the organization. And of course, by all means, since everyone cannot get promoted, there will always be some individuals who are saying, hey, why not me? Anyway, so we're going to get into that. I understand there was a head-on collision in Vieux-Fort. The drivers, I believe that were the sole occupants involved in that collision, currently admitted. I understand they're stable. Oh my goodness, I don't know what to say anymore. Our organization continues to encourage individuals to use the motorways very professionally. Drive with caution. Speed, decrease on the speed. I know sometimes you're feeling the urge, but if you're gonna, you gotta know how to handle your vehicle. You gotta know your capabilities, and you must always think of the what ifs. Whilst you're driving at that particular speed, what if? You're approaching a corner. What if? What if a young individual or any individual just happened to cross the road? What if? So people, let's take it easy. And I know the families of those drivers are counting their blessings, because what could have been another fatality and another family in mourning. We also had a homicide Monday morning in Vieux-Fort. 23-year-old Greg Prescott lost his life, succumbed to multiple gunshot wounds. It's really something else. I'd like to also say good night to the Hippolyte family in Gursley, my family. Over the weekend, we laid to rest a very young member of the family, Bradley Hippolyte. So I'd like to say good night to the family. Auntie Eldra, I hope you're holding on strong. That was your only child. And like the pastor said, unless you walk that path of having to bury your only child, you will not understand what some individuals could go through. Hey, Boboy, what's up? How you doing, my buddy? Good night to you, Cousin Vera Angela Hippolyte. ASP Curtis Roberts, you also logged in. Good night to you. Yulin, and also former Assistant Superintendent of Police Gregory Mike Alexander, you are also logged in. So, without further ado, let me introduce my esteemed guest for the night. No stranger to Police Insight, no stranger to the cameras, no stranger to success and controversy. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Mr. Travis Chicot, the welfare president, the returning welfare president. Good night to you, sir.
A pleasant good evening to you, Comrade Zachary Hippolyte. Indeed, it's a pleasure to be with you again. It's been some time, noticeably. We've not sat in this room or in this forum, but I must say that it's a pleasure, and as you would know, that my availability is an invitation away.
Yes.
No matter what time or how I'm invited. I think there are a number of pertinent issues that we need to discuss.
Oh yes.
As we look into police development and to look at generally actions of the police and new developments in policing over the couple of months or years that as we evaluate daily what has happened or what is happening with police in St. Lucia. Excellent.
And I know some time ago we held Police Welfare Association elections, am I correct?
Yes, we did.
And I could tell you from now, some individuals, even on social media, when I promote that you're going to be the guest, some was saying, but didn't Chico say he was not going up again? He was done with welfare and stuff like that. So some of them are logged in. So let me ask you, Brother Chicot. Okay, first of all, tell us what's the new makeup of the executive.
Well, definitely. The new makeup of the executive at present is I'm at the helm as the president of the Welfare Association, representing the Constables Branch Board. We have Mr. Azariah Francois, who is the vice president, who represents the Constables Branch Board as well. We have Miss Ann Joseph, who is the secretary, who represents the Corporals Branch Board, and Mario Chico, assistant secretary, representing the Corporals Branch Board. We have Sergeant Khalid Xavier, who's representing the Sergeants Branch Board, and we have Inspector Morgan, who's representing the Inspectors Branch Board at Central Executive, with PRO Stanislas Albert and Treasurer Sienna Gaston, who are representing the Constables Branch Board. So the makeup of the executive is very simple. We have experienced campaigners.
I can see that.
And I can tell you, in our discussions, in our daily discussions, in our meetings that we've had thus far, I can tell you that there's been results from the depth of knowledge, and we basically call ourselves a more researched executive this time around, because we have the capabilities lie within the executive, and we've been able to transition from position to position, and I believe if we continue with the same spirits, if we hold on to the same task and the common vision of what the executive believe is fit for the membership, and one thing we will do in next coming for starting from next week. Too many at times members expect that the Welfare Association is the body setting the mandate. We want to change the narrative. We want to change the script slightly.
Okay.
So we'll be approaching every branch board, and we're asking them to challenge your executive on things that you need to see rectified, changed, or enhanced in the organization.
You think you'll be able to do that or be successful at that? Because I know many previous presidents before you have tried the best to energize the branch board,
and definitely,
it doesn't seem to work.
I think it calls for a little more tact.
Okay.
But I'm very confident, and we are confident as an association that we will be able to gel the various branch boards, and we'll be able to set we've already set short terms, mid-terms, and long-term targets as an executive, but we want to ensure that those targets and those plans that we have are not plans that are our own plans, and it seems that we will be pushing one agenda, but we expect for the members to tell us how they want certain things done, what they expect, and we now will go back to the drawing table and redevelop where we are, and we will ensure that our plans coincides with the plans of the general membership.
Mr. Chicot, why do you think that the Police Welfare Association placed the reins of leadership in your hands once again?
Most definitely, as I said, that the association had a few seasoned campaigners, and I can tell you that if I had not been the president, it would be no different. I would have had the same level of confidence in whoever would have taken the helm. As I've said, some of the names I've mentioned are seasoned police officers, and some are seasoned welfare campaigners. And it was simple that I was approached, and members said, look, Chico, we have a number of situations that we believe that if we were to change a president, or if we were to change the flowing of things, it would give us a setback. And hence members felt that I should have continued journeying through the association at the helm.
But you did make a public statement,
definitely,
on social media that
definitely I would have indicated that I was calling it quit, and as I've said before, circumstances change. A number of plans would have changed, and at the time I made the statement, I was actively involved in pursuing a degree, and things changed, and then I decided that, and even then again, circumstances on the ground was that there were not sufficient nominations for us to even have an election, and I was approached by members saying, look, Chico, send in your name, just so that, you know, we can fill out a branch board, and as I did, and surprisingly, I came out with the second highest amount of votes after Ms. Gaston, who has been one of the most seasoned campaigners. Every election, she has led the vote tallies, and we must agree that she is one of the most loved women police officers in the police force. And this is the situation. She spoke to me and she said, Chico, I believe that I'm giving you my support. I think that you have the interests of the membership at heart, and I think I will throw my support to you as the president. And so said so done. Ms. Joseph and some of the other members, Mr. Francois, indicated his interest in seeing me sit at the helm of the organization. And we went into the meeting, we went into the selection or the election of the branch board, and that was the position. So it was
But how did you interpret the results which showed that Ms. Gaston got more votes than you this time around?
There was no ill intention, because as I've said that it is not the first time she has gotten more votes than me in an election.
I see.
And I understood that once she is going to go to form part of the branch board, we know that we have a contender for highest amount of votes, and it has always been between myself and Mrs. Gaston.
Okay.
And as I've said before, that Mrs. Gaston to date is perhaps one of the most loved female police officers, because her mannerisms, her natural vibes, as we say it, is that she understands the plight of the membership. She too has had her own struggles in the organization, and she sometimes is very empathetic towards the cause, and we understand what voting is. Sometimes it's about personal friendships, it's about persons who've checked for you, or persons who continue. Yeah. And this is what it is. But as I've said, we are not contesting ability. As I have said, that Mrs. Gaston and all the other members who form part of the executive are very well placed, very well versed, and they are very understandable in terms of what is the vision for the association, and how we are going to carry the Welfare Association and the membership across the line come in our reevaluation period after 2 years.
And Mrs. Gaston was also one of those who was
upgraded
to that of Police Constable 1. So congratulations to you, Mrs. Gaston. No doubt, sure, maybe one day a future president of the Welfare Association. Mr. Chicot, what would you say was your greatest achievement under the previous executive?
Of course, most definitely, Zach. I think the record speaks for itself. As an executive, which you served as the secretary, you would be aware of some of the landmark negotiation increases that we got. The new insurance policies and some of the new and what we can say, Zach, is under our reign as Welfare Association, for the first time we saw a full cohort of special police constables being upgraded to regular police constables, and that itself was a step in the right direction. As an association, we understood and we rightfully agitated for that to happen, and now we're seeing coming out in a new period of the executive being formed, weeks into being a new association. We were again called and we shared our voice on that position as to how it should be done, and for us to always remember, we actually did our own surveys as to the amount of senior persons that we have who've served in the organization, and we were very smart in going about it, and we just looked at it as if that you have worked for me, Zachary, for all your life, and now that you are deserving, or I owe you a promotion, I am saying to you that I have abused your youthful days, and because you've passed a certain age, you are still performing, you are qualified, you are still coming to work notwithstanding your age, and you are still on the field as if you had recently left school and you were a new horse running in the race. And we understood, we were very much aware of persons within specialized departments, persons who were at outstations, who were performing, and we've said it before, some of them have been performing better than regular constables. And we understood that we had to make a special justification for these members, taking into consideration that it is not just about age and wanting to fit them, that they were qualified and that they were still performers in the organization, and hence we got the opportunity to see 10 of them. Some did not apply, some did. But we saw that the commissioner in his wisdom made a special within the commissioner who has the right to promote based on what the law says, and he did recognize them for the efforts and the hard work for over the period of time they've been in the service.
So now that you're on that, because I have that question laid down. So what hand did the PW have a hand in the decision of the commissioner?
No. The Police Welfare Association did not decide who would have gotten promoted.
Okay.
What we did was to present the facts And that is one of the areas that we have been able to get. We've been able to get information, and we presented the facts. Because let us look at it. You have a gentleman who was 27 years service. He's been in the service at grade 4. He served from the time he was 18 till his age now. Does that mean that he should be disqualified from moving from an SPC into a constable one? And we believe that in the next few days to come, there will be a radical shifting or radical agitation by the Welfare Association to get the SPC program regularized. And when we say regularized, we are continuing to press that at no time in the history of this organization that we should have anybody working 9 years at a grade that they are unable to move within the pay scales and being there for 20-something years. This is an abuse of the process, and we believe that we have dialogue with the Commissioner of Police, who agrees that there must be a mechanism in place, that if you employ somebody, he has worked with you, free periods of contract, of what we call memorandum of appointments, the organization should be in a position to determine that this person is fit enough to become a regular police officer within the service, and for us to have the mechanisms in place, the checks and balances, and the necessary structures for training, the necessary structures for judging them within the ethical standards of the organization, and to see how or where do they fit in the structure of the police force. So we understand, and we will not remain quiet until we have gotten this anomaly rectified in the organization, that no police officer should join the police force as an auxiliary and work 27 to 40 years
and remain at
that same position. And you know, in the week there, one of the officers were giving me a joke, and she said, "Chico, can you imagine, man, so many of these guys who are at the highest level, in the primary school days, as a warden into an SPC, I held their hand and allowed them to cross the road. And today she's 40-something years, 46 years service, and she's not had a promotion, she's not had a salary increase. 36 years.
Wow.
But she's performing the same duties, she has the same responsibilities, and she's doing the same task as a regular police officer in the organization, but at a different salary scale. And we say, no, that is unfair. That cannot be right. That should not exist in a modern day organization. Our HR department should have that special, or that special police constable program within the right place, that as soon as you realize, and surprisingly, Zach, that these people are professional. These people go to universities. We have so many of them who have the first degrees. Some are pursuing the masters at this point in time at the very same salary. They get them. Some of them have degrees and they've not gotten a promotion, associate's degrees. Some of them go to do extensive professional certification in specialist fields. And we're saying that we should have the proper mechanism in place through our HR department to look at those people and see where they can fit in the structure.
Definitely, we should commend the police commissioner for taking on this initiative, especially for the special police constables who've been there for such a long time. But we still have a lot who didn't get the opportunity. Mr. President, do you believe that sometime later in the year that the Police Welfare Association will still be making some form of representation to the police commissioner to maybe have another promotion?
Okay, so let's look at it. In 2 years, we've seen the upgrade of 100 and something special police constables.
Okay.
Probably 120. We have 340 something special police constables in the organization, right? So it tells me that if we continue on that trajectory, if we continue where we are, within 2-3 years, we should have brought in all those persons as police constables retire, and as vacancies exist or opens up in the organization, we could fill in those ranks. So I said, and I had personal conversations with persons that were disappointed, and I do not expect them not to be disappointed, because promotions, as we know, is the only manner in which somebody will get a salary increase in the police force.
That's right.
And that's what it is. Everybody is competing to be promoted. And I said to them, well, I take example on myself. I'm 16 years service. Of course, I believe I should be promoted, or I can be promoted. I've worked. I believe that I still contribute enough as a police officer, constable. And I said to them, I am not upset at Zachary because he made it to sergeant. I think my responsibility now is to ensure that I work with you. I work with the person who's a corporal now, to ensure that we remain effective, we remain relevant. So I'm not going to behave as if I'm going to grudge you because that you've gotten promoted, but I have a responsibility that when we come to work, that I play my 100% to ensure that the people we serve them with pride and dignity. And I know persons will be disappointed. I expect them to be disappointed, but we're supposed to be able to move past some of those things and going back into the organization and proving our point, solidifying our position that, hey, I am working to get my promotion, and in the next round, because I have delivered, I have worked, and I have showed my skill, my ability, I will be promoted. And that's how I look at it. Because I think is in human nature we will be disappointed, but we sometimes have to pass some of those things and to come back into the fold and continue doing what we are doing.
Okay, excellent. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'm going to ask the president about, hey, we have some major announcements. U.S. Embassy, U.S. Ambassador actually speaking on lifting up sanctions on the Royal Central Police Force, some departments of the Royal Central Police Force. We'll get his reaction when we come back. Stay tuned.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatments that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild, the power to heal, the future of pain relief.
Boost your commercial success with NBC TV and NBC Social. Don't look back. Invest in your advertising. Reach your target audience at peak times and off-peak times. We deliver strategically placed advertising spots at the most competitive rates. Also ask about our production services, which include television ad production, jingles, and documentaries designed to suit your business needs. We also deliver classified ads designed for land sales, job opportunities, and more. Advertise with NBC TV and NBC Social.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417, let your wellness be our stress.
Protocols for international visitors while in St. Lucia. The following protocols are established to guide the stay of all guests while on island in order to mitigate any possible spread of infection. During the first 14 days, visitors are allowed to patronize approved beaches, restaurant, sea and land excursions, and sites and attractions. All visits are scheduled and pre-arranged by their respective accommodation providers. During this period, all visitors will be transported to and from the certified sites using only COVID-19 certified tourism transportation. After the first 14 days, if any visitor wishes to stay on island beyond the 14-day period, they must apply for and receive a health clearance certificate from the Ministry of Health. Visitors will be allowed to travel, be out in the wider public and patronize local businesses unsupervised once health clearance certificates have been received. During their entire stay, visitors must wear their masks whenever they are in public places and maintain the mandatory 6 feet distancing from others.
You're watching MBC.
Welcome back to Police Insight. Thank you for staying tuned in. And all of you in the Facebook chat room, thank you so much for all your, I could see the conversations going on already. Thank you so much for your support. In studio with me, the president of the Police Welfare Association, Travis Chicot. Mr. Chicot, I'm now going to play a video clip. And this is the video announcement of the United States Ambassador to Barbados and the OECS, Her Excellency Linda S. Taglialetella. I hope I got that last name correctly. Roll that footage, Shade.
AID, our Juvenile Justice Reform Project. The United States helped former juvenile offenders in St. Lucia to reinvigorate and reintegrate into society. USAID officers offer training in community-based conflict resolution, and our Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs hosted training for St. Lucian judges on sentencing guidelines to harmonize them across the region. Despite the strong cooperation in many fields since 2013, the Royal St. Lucian Police Force has been excluded from our assistance due to the implications of some St. Lucian Security Force personnel in the alleged extrajudicial killing of civilians. I've come here to announce that starting today, we will be able to expand assistance to selected units within the Royal St. Lucian Police Force. After years of review that included consultations across the United States government agencies, as well as coordination with St. Lucia, we have been able to identify a number of Royal St. Lucian Police Force units with which we will be able to resume full cooperation and assistance. This means that those units, such as the Marine and Immigration units, will again be able to enjoy the full benefits of United States security assistance that we are planning to begin as we speak. These units will be eligible for security assistance like that provided through the United States Caribbean Basin Security Initiative. This initiative seeks to reduce illicit trafficking in the region, advance public safety, and promote social justice. Some St. Lucian security units may also benefit from other security assistance programs, such as the professional military educational and technical training courses provided through the United States Department of Defense, state partnership program exchanges with the Florida and United States Virgin Island National Guards, and regular maritime maintenance support through the United States Southern Command's technical assistance and field teams. This is only the first step. We look forward to continuing to expand our cooperation and engagement. An important part of this process is to ensure full accountability on allegations of extrajudicial killings. We continue to call for the credible investigation and accountability in these cases in order to broaden cooperation to all units. We have always been confident that the vast majority of the Royal St. Lucian Police Force are professional and law-abiding officers who are not in any way connected to the alleged gross violations of human rights from a decade ago. Again, I would like to restate that this is only the first step, but it is a very important step. And my embassy security team and I could not be happier to mark this important occasion by being here with you to make a formal announcement. We look forward to restarting our security partnership and continue our work together to enhance security in St. Lucia and the region. Thank you.
And that was during a press briefing on security on June 18th, Friday, June 18th, 2021. Mr. President, your reaction to this news?
Well, definitely, I would have listened to the entire press conference via social media. And as we rightfully know that good news, we have to call good news good news. We know that the areas highlighted has been some areas that we have had trouble with in terms of being able to get the amount of resources needed to combat some of the areas that we see that affects us in our fight against crime. We are aware that our Marine unit is in need of the technical assistance and training in servicing some of the vessels that they have and being able to operate at a better level than they are operating now. And we understand that the training is indeed necessary, or even the funding is indeed necessary. We understand that immigration, and it would definitely have to come out of conversation that would benefit both parties. This is indeed good news, and we believe that the partial scale down is a move in the right direction. We understand that what they have indicated, or what is the standard for the total scaling out or coming out of the imposing of the ley law. But we understand that we are in a period where things will be done and things have to be done, and the Police Welfare Association has not been silent on its responsibility to call on the relevant authorities who have the matter of IMPACS in their hands at limbo. And the Welfare Association, as we know, will not remain silent on this issue, because at the end of the day, we know that justice delayed is justice denied, and we know that there are members who are adversely affected by some of the allegations leveled at them. And we understand that it is important that people or persons who've been given certain responsibilities must act and operate and perform the duties. And we understand, we want to believe that within quick time that an announcement can be made by the Director of Public Prosecutions as it pertains to what is happening with some of those matters that are within his purview to deal with.
Mr. President, just hold it there, because I realize we're going to another part of the conversation. Before you go on to that side of the conversation, let's get this second clip from the press briefing. Go ahead, Shane.
To protect its borders, it's important that St. Lucia play a role in regional security, but at the same time mindful of the U.S.'s requirement that this issue be resolved, because they take human rights very seriously. And I think that we share in that, but we had to make sure that we weren't compromising the rule of law in our country or the rights of our own citizens and moving forward. So, Madam.
To answer the second part of your question, the Prime Minister is correct. What the Leahy law requires is to have a reasonable, supported prosecution, which means that it has to be well documented. There has to be a significant effort to determine if the alleged extrajudicial killings actually took place and who was involved, and is there sufficient evidence to go forward to a trial. There is no requirement that people must be found guilty or convicted of charges. What it means is that there has to be a reasonable and respectable process by which people are held accountable and determined whether in fact they had participated or not in a particular activity. So it's up to the DPP to put together his best case or cases. It's up to him to determine and to document those cases that can't move forward because there is insufficient evidence. And from there we can move forward to go back to the United States government and discuss whether this is acceptable under the Leahy laws and whether we can then remove the restrictions.
Okay, so Mr. President, you heard that second part, because what I'm going to ask you is, yes, it's great news, but what about the feeling of the members who have been impacted for so long in reference to this situation? Have you been able to get a feel? And just before you answer that, Mr. President, to add on to it, you know, ladies and gentlemen, I came across a story from the St. Lucia Times, and it is very important that I at least read some of it. And this was a story dated June 21st, 2021. And it says that National Security Minister Hermigan Francis believes police officers accused of extrajudicial killings during Operation Restore Confidence ought to be compensated in the event that they are exonerated. The allegations of extrajudicial killings by some members of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force arose out of several fatal police shootings in 2010 to 2011. Hermigan Francis explained that the DPP can decide whether the matter goes to court or nullify the case if he feels there's no evidence to prosecute. It's really left up to him, says the DPP. And according to the story, he also says, as far as they are concerned, those persons should not be elevated because of the mere fact that you elevate them, they would be responsible for a number of persons below them, and those persons would be looked as being tainted. Nevertheless, Francis told reporters there is a way of compensating the officers if they are exonerated. Mr. President, when you listen to the U.S. ambassador, she gives an assurance that it doesn't really have to be some form of prosecution where someone has to be found guilty. But when you listen to the security minister, he speaks of if they are exonerated. Don't you think there is some mixed signals going towards our members?
But most definitely, Zach, and as we rightfully said, what we go by in any court of law would have to be evidence. And only evidence will determine the outcome of a matter. So the ambassador, within her rights, if I'm not sure whether she knows the veracity of the evidence beforehand, can say, well, you could prosecute the matter, and if persons are not found guilty, then that's it. Then the minister, on the other hand, can make a statement, because we do not know what is the position, whether he has seen evidence, whether he has read statements. We don't know. We don't know what is the position. We don't know whether he was briefed by the Director of Public Prosecutions. But what we're saying is, I will not pretend, Zach, that I do not have an appreciation. I have an appreciation for the unease of the members, and that is reasonable. That is reasonable. And I will not speak to how they feel, because I have not been consented to do such. I have not, since this, we've not met with them. But I will not make it seem that they are disgruntled or they have their positions because they don't have consent to have it, or they should not have that level of being disgruntled. We understand, and it's on one end, and it's very hypocritical on one end to speak of breaches in human rights, and on the other end, we are now breaching another's human rights, because we know that those matters have been pending for a number of years.
Because if you listen to the story, there was this thinking that the police officers they have not been charged with anything.
That's right.
They should be able to go through the
To go through promotion. They should not go through. They should be able to get promoted because all you have is an allegation at this point.
Exactly.
And to have an allegation hanging over them now,
they've been excluded from promotion.
And to exclude them from training, to exclude them from promotions, to exclude them from working in certain departments. This is absurd. That cannot be the standard of the day. These men have their constitutional rights, and we should not treat with it as if that they are already guilty, which is an abuse of the very same process that we speak to them being a part of an abuse of process. And I am dumbfounded by it. I cannot understand why to this date that so long that we have men day by day are waiting to hear what is the position with their faith as to whether they can be charged or they will not be charged, whether there will be 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8 investigations. That should not be the standard at which we operate within an organization. We are the sole investigative body, and if there is sufficient evidence, and we've said it before, it will be no new position. If you have evidence to charge, charge. If you don't have evidence to charge, come out and make a statement. Let us stop playing with the lives of people. It is one thing to have police officers who are not psychologically prepared at work.
Mr. President, are you expecting that the DPP's office should be making some form of pronouncement at least before the next general election?
Well, I'm not even worried about whether he makes it before the next general election or not. But by now, he should have made a statement on impacts. There should have been we should have been seeing something being done as it relates to impacts. And it is necessary for us to understand that, because at the end of the day, we say the same thing. We are very keen on saying shouting human rights. But at the same time, we have the opposite reaction is happening, because we are infringing on these men. We are infringing on their rights for promotion, on their rights for upward mobility in the organization. They are at work. So if they cannot get promoted, for God's sake, if they cannot get promoted and they cannot work in prestigious departments or what we so-called specialized departments, should we just agree that we pay them and allow them to stay at the home till the DPP makes his statement? To me, that is more reasonable. Should we come up with a better solution? Because it's one thing to have a man working with a reasonable expectation for promotion, and then to tell him that you cannot give him to take charge over departments because of what people will perceive.
Yeah, according to the story, the Senator Miguel Francis, Minister of National Security, speaks of compensation. In your opinion, Mr. President, what form of compensation you think would be for after almost a decade?
Yeah, well, my thing is they would have to pay the gentlemen, pay them the hefty sums, because it's one thing to work in an organization and within 10 years you could have been a superintendent or an assistant superintendent, and you are kept at the same rank. So somebody needs to compensate you for the injustice done against you. And rightfully the minister is right that if they are exonerated, it is he sees it from the same angle that we see it, that it would be an injustice against them, because the minister within his knowledgeable enough will know that 11 years it's too much time.
That's right.
To not just have the matters there to say that you've already charged, to have an allegation. It's just like I'm saying, you tell me, Chico, until I don't clear something on you, you cannot move from point A to point B. But you, Zach, you've taken 20 years and you have a responsibility of care. You have that responsibility to ensure that you investigate my matter within a reasonable time. The Constitution is clear. The Constitution is clear on what should happen. So we cannot at one end agitate for one set, and on the other end treat the police as if they are less of citizens in this country. They are citizens, and the same Constitution that governs everybody else, it governs the police. And as an association, it is fair that the DPP, the Director of Public Prosecution, makes a statement on the position of IMPACS, and that is something that is a duty that he owes to the citizenry of this country. He owes that to the citizenry to tell the citizens what is happening with IMPACS.
However, the PWA is satisfied, or at least happy with the first step, knowing that now members, our members from the Marine Unit,
and immigration, of course, because we represent them, they are our members. But at the same hand, whilst we can say kudos for the good vaccines and what has happened, we now must not stop the levels of agitation as it pertains to what ought to have been done by now, and that's our position on it.
On to another topic, Mr. President. Some of our members have received public criticism for appearing on talk shows that solely promote a partisan political agenda. Was the PWA aware of this, and did the PWA take any form of action?
Well, as you know, the standing orders is clear. The person with the responsibility for such is the Commissioner of Police. The Police Welfare Association does not control on what media stations that police officers go on. What is controlled is the content delivered by those police officers, and the person who has that responsibility along given to him through the standing orders of the police force is the Commissioner of Police, and that is something that the Commissioner of Police, I guess, since I've heard all the pressures or all the comments coming out, I'm not sure whether they've had any discussions at their level, but that, as we've rightfully understood, is not the position of the Welfare Association, but rather the Commissioner of Police. It is his responsibility.
In your opinion, are your members ready for elections?
Well, that again is for the Commissioner of Police. The Commissioner of Police has the superintendents of the police force, and from what I know, that with the police force have always been ready for elections. We've worked. It's just a bit challenging now, as you know, that we have the pandemic, we have the COVID virus alive and well. It calls for a lot more strategy, a lot more new techniques to relearning new things, getting the old out and taking new approaches. And I'm hoping that, you know, those are the kind of conversations that the commissioner would be having now with those responsible for operations, those responsible for territorial policing, because whilst we will have election, or whilst we are due to have elections, we must always understand that the sole apparatus who is responsible for upholding the law and order in this country, that we do not make them vulnerable in the same process by exposing them to the COVID virus. So we must take new approaches to ensure that we have a fair, safe, and a good election, the date that it would be called.
What would be your advice to members during what we now have what is dubbed the silly season? What would be your advice to members?
Well, as anything, you know, what we advise members is to remain professional, execute the law, and to we will as we've been accused of being involved in selective policing. But I will say openly to members that we should not partake in any forms of selective policing. And if we are in a community and we realize that we need to go out and ask persons to social distance, we need to ask persons to wear the mask, we can do it from our safe zones, our safe areas, call on the persons who are, because whether we like it or not, we are in the silly season. People will want to come out, and people will want to will want to wave the flags, will want to jump around, and will want to shout for who they support. But the persons who have the responsibility, the group leaders and whatnot, have a responsibility to themselves and also to the community and the safety of every person, to ask them to social distance, wear the mask, and to ensure that persons can campaign or converse for whichever political party they want safely. But the police, from our standpoint as a welfare association, will not partake in any forms, or we call on our members to remain professional and not to partake in any forms of selective policing, to ensure that once the law is broken by whoever it is broken, that the necessary the necessaries are done to ensure that persons do not break the law.
Just before we take our next break and then we open the lines, last question for you before our next break. There is still talk out there, Mr. President, that you were tipped to be a candidate of one of the political parties. Can you finally put this to rest?
Well, as I've said, Zach, on the last time that I appeared here, I'm a police officer. I will continue to operate professionally. But as I've said, as a citizen of this country, somewhere down the line in my endeavors, if I were to make a decision to go into politics. It is my decision. It's a decision that I can make. But as I've said, when persons ask me, I said, look, I'm a police officer, and as long as you see that I am wearing the police uniform or operating for the police, it is not about politics. It is not about anything, but to ensure that I work I give a fair day's pay, a fair day's work for a fair day's pay, and it's not about anything to do with politics, but it's something that every young St. Lucian, every citizen, as a matter of fact, young or old, should at one point aspire to hold one of the most it should be one of the most prestigious positions in the land. But as I've said, whether inside or outside of politics, one can still make a positive contribution to the development of this country.
Thank you. Okay, we are now going to take our second break, and when we come back, we shall open up the lines. Stay tuned.
Free and the proud recipient of the 2018, 2019 and 2020 Grand Gold Mond Selection Quality Award. Our choice is clear, crystal clear.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
Boost your commercial success with NBC TV and NBC Social. Don't look back. Invest in your advertising. Reach your target audience at peak times and off-peak times. We deliver strategically placed advertising spots at the most competitive rates. Also ask about our production services, which include television ad production, jingles, and documentaries designed to suit your business needs. We also deliver classified ads designed for land sales, job opportunities, and more. Advertise with NBC TV and NBC Social.
Aging gracefully is the hope for everyone. But when you age prematurely, most people think that something is wrong with you. The natural enzymes and building blocks in your skin start to deplete, so fine or deep lines and wrinkles appear, making you look much older than you really are. At Derma Clinic, we can help repair your skin and change the way you look in minutes. These treatments will make you look younger. At Derma Clinic, we treat all kinds of skin problems, such as facial lines, dark circles around the eyes, crow's feet, and frown lines, using all-natural hyaluronic acid filler. So maintain and improve your facial appearance. For more information, call 453-6417 or 485-9818.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild, the power to heal, the future of pain relief.
You're watching MBC.
Welcome back to Police Insight. The lines will now be open. You could also WhatsApp me on 7200401, 7200401. And I have some comments on the WhatsApp texting platform. I'm going to read a few. This viewer says, you call that political gimmick good news. The U.S. has never stopped funding the Marine unit because they need our borders secured more than we do. It is to their interest because of our location. Also, remember these cases have been investigated by 3 different agencies, first by the local police, and the matters were presented to the coroner's court, then by IMPACS, and now by a special catered unit of 3 local police officers who were operating the DPP's office, and up to this date, no evidence can be found to prefer any charge. So how much more time they need to complete the investigation? And that's a statement there by a viewer, Mr. President. We also have a message here. Good night. I recently attended the retirement ceremony which we had at the Rodney Police Station put together for Clears de Turville, PC 538. I like to say, good. I hope Mr. Turville is doing fine, sir. I commend you, we commend you, and thank you for your long service. However, this individual says, is there anything in place by the welfare to at least spearhead such activity for the police officers who they serve? If not, is there any consideration being made by the welfare to institute a formal send-off of officers? It is very sad, in my opinion, the way in which majority of our long service officers, especially those of lower ranks, retire unnoticed. Imagine serving an organization such as the police service, one of the riskiest of professions, for multiple decades, and not to be recognized for such service.
This is a point on point contribution from the commenter. I want to say that we would have highlighted that some time back when Mr. Mosheri was the commissioner, and we advised that it should be similar to when they are joining the big show that we have in having them do whatever that they're doing, and when they are retiring, we have that big retirement send off for persons who have served with pride and dignity. And I agree that we need to review. At some point, some members would have traveled to Grenada and saw what was happening in Grenada in terms of the parade for retirement and the dinner, and to ensure that these persons are even recognized before they retire. So this is something that we will again discuss, and it is fair that nobody should serve in an organization, and as a commentator rightfully said, in such, for so many decades with such high risk, that when they retire, we just hear people retire and we forget about them. But no, we should play our part in ensuring that they're given a send-off to really showcase our appreciation for what they've done during the time they've served in the Royal Commercial Police Force.
And it is something that is outstanding.
Definitely
outstanding. It's definitely something that
definitely. I believe it should be done every half year, that the persons retire between January to June. We give them the send off, and June to December give them the send off, and to ensure that we can really tell them thanks for what they've done and their service to not just the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, but to the people of St. Lucia.
Okay, the lines are open. It is 4533-911, 4533-911. I see the Facebook chat is alive and buzzing. There is a debate going on there right now, not one that I wish to broadcast over the air, but thank you for the comments, and please, people, please be respectful. Please be respectful, and we need to respect people's opinions. Mr. President, what would be the target areas or main priority areas for this new executive?
All right, well, yeah, definitely the new executive continues to agitate and continues to have look at the areas of professional certification and also encouraging police officers to challenge themselves, not just for the organization, but for their personal benefit. We're also going to look into the SPC program. As you rightfully said, it is something that needs a lot of attention. It will take a lot of time. We are also now setting up our insurance review committee. We are also setting up our, we have actually set up we'll be having our first meeting for our duties review.
Duties review?
Yes, standardizations of duties within the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, and that is especially for our outstations, persons who have been working for so long at spending so many hours. We know what is the standard rate, or what the ILO has given for a standard rate for working hours within an organization, and now we know that what we have is police officers working in 1 week in excess of 102 hours in 1 week, and that's something that needs to be revised. We were trying to make sure that we look at our manpower audit to ensure that persons are properly utilized in the organization, to ensure that there is not an inequality of duties, because as you now have it, you have some persons working 2 days in, 2 days out. So for example, you have a man leaves his home on Monday morning, goes back to his home on Wednesday morning, then comes back on Friday and goes back on Monday morning, which is an elongated period working, and we believe that this is unfair. We believe that we should utilize persons, because in policing or in the criminal justice organization field, that burnout seems to be a very serious concern, and the hours, the long hours are contributing to police officers being frustrated, police officers being burnt out. So these are just the short term, but our long term goal is to ensure that the SPC program is matriculated into the regular. We're looking at things like the disparity in the 2 uniforms as well. If we have one police force and we're doing the same job, why should we run one set with one set of uniform and have another set with one set of uniform? And even for economics, even for the purposes of cost cutting and saving, that what should differentiate a police officer, two police officers performing the job, is either the rank or the badge that you assign to them. So these are things that we continue to look closely into, and as we move into the next few days, we'll be having our first set of meetings with the various branch boards, constables, corporals, sergeants, and inspectors, and then hopefully immediately after these, we will re-strategize, reposition the position of the executive, and to start having our discussions, our consultations with members in terms of how they feel and what they understand, or what will be the best working duties for them. We also now are dialoguing with the Caribbean Federation of Police Welfare Associations, and we are going to look at 2 police forces who have similar numbers to ours. Look at the demographics as well, geography, the terrain, whether it's very similar to us, and to look at the duty patterns as well, and to see how they've been able to do it to ensure that police officers work within a 42 to 50-hour work week, not surpassing it. So this is a very serious concern for us, and I can assure you, Zach, that within quick time we will reevaluate those positions, and to ensure that we can do proper research, we can do proper agitating, and to ensure that we can see before this year ends that police officers are working no more than 50 hours a week. And we say 50 hours because we've gone above the set, because we understand the nature of the job, we understand what we do, but we are going to tailor our week between a 40 to 50 hour week when we come out with the relevant duties that we should adopt for all police stations within the island.
Excellent. Shane, can you put the number up on the screen? I'm not sure if that's... Yes. I have a question here from the WhatsApp texting platform. Good evening. It's not on the topic I want to, but however, I want to have a little motorcade in my community. How can I go ahead with it? Viewer, we are still in a state of emergency. If you want to have some form of activity, then you need to apply to police headquarters, to the office of the Commissioner of Police, and then you'll be guided as to how your activity could happen, given that there will be certain protocols that must be established to see if at all if you will be allowed to have that that event. However, as we have seen on social media and also the news broadcast, Mr. President, that the political parties are having their little, if you want to call it, motorcades around the place, etc. So it's definitely it's very difficult for policing at this point in time. Let me see, I'm seeing another comment here. Police officers currently work over 128 hours a week. The norm's supposed to be 40. When will the welfare address or approach the executive on this matter? This is someone who's not, I assume this is a police officer.
But we've as we've said, we've already had, the commissioner has already given us the go-ahead to consult with the members and to make representation. But we, as we rightfully said, we are going further. And we are going to involve our sister association, our mother association, who is the Caribbean Federation of Police Welfare Associations, and we'll look at patterns around the region. We'll look at forces that who are similar in size and who police an area just like us. And we're going to look at the best duties, ensuring that we do not surpass we work within the 40 to a 50-hour work week. Nothing going above that, because, and we say the 50 hours only because we understand the nature of the job, and we want to be in a position where we are flexible enough to ensure that we continue performing our duties, understanding that we can give some give and take in the leverage. But ideally, we believe in a 40 to 48 hour work week, but we want to be reasonable and say that we're going to operate or to design whatever that we are going to design or whatever that we're going to consult on to stick between 40 to 50 hours in the week.
Another comment here from the WhatsApp texting platform. Imagine in the police band being a band cadet for 9 to 10 years at a great free salary with no allowances and no increase. And they work in the same capacity as the constables in the band. Is the welfare looking into this? The welfare, in terms of the police band members, the welfare does put forth representation for them? Is that
yes? Clear? Yeah, but the act is clear on police band. Police band members are not just considered police band members. The police act calls them police officers, and they are given the same allowances. They are given the same salaries as police officers, and from time to time, the Commissioner of Police, when necessary, calls them out of the normal line of work to come to do general policing matters. But as we've said, what is important is to ensure that whoever that we are utilizing to provide those services, that we retool them, we equip them, and we give them the necessary training so that they can perform those duties that they are asked to do when it's necessary.
Another question here. I'm not sure if it's within your purview to answer, Mr. President, but I'll ask it anyway. Thank you, viewer. Mr. Chicot, what is the PW's position on the promotion of Mr. Wayne Showery, considering he has a matter under investigation, yet the ORC officers are denied promotions for the last 8 years? Can you please respond?
Well, as I would say, Zach, we are not aware of any matter against Mr. Showery, and neither the Welfare Association when it comes to promotions of gazetted officers. We have no part to play in it, as we know that they are promoted by the Public Service Commission. And if there was any matter against Mr. Showery, the Public Service Commission ought to have known. And just the mere fact that he has gotten promotion should tell us that there was no report against him, so hence he was able to have been promoted.
Another question here. Given the way when governments change, and sometimes some projects are stopped, some are continued, is the welfare concerned about the House of Justice that up to, let me see what the police trying to say there, that up to now a block cannot be laid? And what about the Grosley Police Station? When will they finally get their new home? Is the welfare concerned about this?
Of course, we are very much concerned as it pertains to the, and it's affecting us. We had various police stations having to be locked down, closed down because of prisoners testing positive within a small space at the Babuno station, Marsha station, and some of the other small stations. The mere fact that we've demolished the building and we've not seen any movement is a matter of concern to us. We believe that by now something, and you see, these are the issues that we have as an association, that there is not sufficient consultation. You know, the information does not come to the Welfare Association, who has the responsibility of informing the members as to what is happening. So we believe that the Grosley Police Station, we would have sat some years ago on a blueprint for Grosley headquarters, and we would have made recommendations. We saw the plans were redesigned to encompass things like a drying room, a storage room for processing vehicles, a vehicle bay, and so many other things that would deal with modern day policing. The designs were there. We knew that there were plans to start, but we've not seen any movement on Grosley Police Station. And as we said, we believe that something needs to be done with the Grosley Police Station. As we now speak, we've had serious challenges there, and we believe that wherever that the Grosley Police Station will be moving to, that the Police Welfare Association must be part of the consultation and the selecting of any building that they're going to. We are not going to allow persons to just decide that they're going to just select where Grosley will go or where Marsha will go or where then we will go. But the Welfare Association, who is responsible for terms and conditions of work, we want to have a say in what is happening as it pertains to departments moving from building to building or whatnot.
Another question here, and apparently most of our questions are coming from...
The phone lines have a problem, somebody's saying.
The phone lines has a problem. Do we have a problem with the phone line, Shane? Okay, so if the phone lines have a problem, people, and that is unfortunate that we only now knowing that, you could try to call WhatsApp 732-8951, 732-8951. You could try calling that number and she will patch you through. Another WhatsApp texting platform question, is the welfare going to address the issue of police officers working until 65 without a gratuity and only a pension from NIC, which according to the Constitution is unfair to the employee? I don't know if the individual is correct about the Constitution being unfair, but this is a situation that police officers are now under the NIC. Is this something that the welfare can take on, or is it something?
Well, it's something that it's something that we've tried to discuss at all levels, and we've not made too much headway on it. It's a position that we believe that we can meet at a halfway position, and I think it's fair that persons retire at an age where they can enjoy their retirement rather than seeing persons work till the age of 65 or working and having to at 65 to enjoy their pensions, which I think is not fair. Because if a man would have contributed 30 years service and retires at 57 or 55, he now would have to wait 10 years before he can enjoy his benefits. I think that this is unfair, and we need the powers that be needs to address it. It needs to be something that we can come together or maybe redesign a package that you can enjoy some form of and even then when we change under the pensionable post in terms of gratuities to go under the NIC, I think that it would have been fair for us to reevaluate our positions and to have all organizations with a contribution from government and a contribution from the employee to have some funds set up for the various credit unions that we have teachers, police, these credit unions, and persons could enjoy between the time frame that they left, that there would have been something set up where they would have collected the lump sum to enjoy their retirement, and whilst these monies would have been finishing, they would have been entitled to the next set of benefits that they would have. So it calls for a position to be taken holistically. It calls for the government, it calls for the employer, it calls for the Police Welfare Association and other associations, and also the membership to look at what is the best way forward in dealing with this situation.
Okay, viewers, I'm sorry that there appears to be a problem with the landline. It's very, very unfortunate. Mr. President, moving on to another subject, another topic, can you speak to the impact of the former peace officers, first during their tenure? How beneficial were they to the organization in the short tenure? I think it was 3-4 months. And secondly, speak to the impact in terms of their absence.
Well, that would have had to be the wardens.
Yes.
Well, one of the things I can say, during that 3-month or that 4-month period, I was on vacation, but I would have been following comments on social media.
We have a call? Okay, let's take that call, Mr. President. We'll get back to you. Good night, caller.
Good night, Mr. Zachary. What's up?
Thank you for getting through. I don't know, we had a problem with our lines. Low down on your volume. I could hear myself.
I'm lucky to get through.
Go ahead.
Good night to you, Uncle Chico.
Yes.
Yes, good night, sir.
So, I wanted to ask you 2 questions. One, how is the promotion done in the police force? Is it by doing an exam and whatnot? That's number 1. And number 2, give me the wrongs. I know you have ECP, Sergeant, Corporal, DCP, and the list. So from what step to what step until they reach the higher ranks? And last thing, Mr. Zachary, I want to ask you a little question. Does the police give us news they want us to hear, or are they keeping things hidden from us?
I heard you ask that question on another show earlier this evening.
You know why I heard that, right? That was something that happened at the hotel last week. With masked gunmen going to a hotel and rob a guy. So up to now, I've not heard that from you as yet. So what is the hold up?
Well, Connor, we have a press relations department, and I know for sure that the Corporal Ann Joseph, she's very dedicated. She works hard. However, there's always some form of strategy by the organization when, in terms of putting out certain press releases. So it's not that there's a deliberate attempt by the organization not to put out information or press release, but sometimes when that happens, there is a strategy behind it. Trust me.
Strategy who?
Yeah, there's a strategy behind it.
When the guy get the flag for this country, you know what will happen to us? Remember the tourist thing just open, you know. And after that COVID rule we have there. And the man does have to burn this as if all kind of names, talk to tell the show. Will that be nice for us? Tell me.
Yeah.
I didn't pick him up properly, sir.
Mr. Zachary, tell me. Whenever I go to this country, they tell him about this country. And try to put things on all papers, all media and whatnot. And the police force here have a word yet on that issue. Will that be nice to us? Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, we are aware that it will definitely it leaves room for speculation. It leaves room for people to think of whatever they think is going on. But I know for sure that the organization has no issue with putting out press releases. We've always put out press releases. But I cannot speak for the press department, neither the Commissioner of Police on that matter. I know some time ago I had a discussion with him, and he did state that there's no issue with giving out information. It's just that sometimes, due to certain circumstances that you might not be aware of, that there is a strategy in putting out certain information. So I have to repeat what the Commissioner says.
The commissioner had to be able to tell you that nobody is hearing. Up to now, we can hear from the container they catch by that business place up north there. Up to now.
Yeah. I know that's a sore point, caller.
A number of arms have been found on fellas up to now.
But in all fairness, and I remember seeing that just tonight, Mr. President, the police commissioner was interviewed on that situation in reference to the quantity of drugs that was found at a particular business place in the north, and he did state that there's a lot of investigation going on, because it's not that's what he said. It's not a situation where we just found a little bag of marijuana in someone's home. The stuff was found in a container. There's a lot of movement. There's lots of investigations going on. So that's what our police commissioner said. Investigations are active, caller. Active.
We're not living in Charlie Chaplin country or whatever Castello, you know. We're living in serious times. That thing happened, they're not now that happening, you know. I remember 7 years ago, cocaine was unseen, drug was found in Frozen on the beach. Up to now, they never tell us. Cocaine have gone to the station, it's into breeze. Money came, good money came, fake money. Our vote left the police. Our vote left some years ago for the police thing just for the face there. Up to now, you know, that are deserving. We're not even in a comedian country. We're not in comedy. Even though they are acting, but no, that's not going to be at all.
Anyway, thank you, caller. But know that the investigation is active. Thank you so much.
Give me the steps, all the thing, all the promotion. Okay, boss?
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yes.
Your case next week.
All right, caller. There is an examination process for promotions in the organization, from constable to that of inspector. However, when you reach the rank of ASP up to that of commissioner, that is the purview of the Public Service Commission. And I also have I'd like to say, Mr. Commissioner is logged in, and he just wants us to inform everyone, especially, and I assume that is reference to the person who spoke about the motorcade. He said that the command center has developed some campaign protocols, and currently we are awaiting consultation with the political parties and other stakeholders in preparation for approval. So there you go, viewer. Yeah. When it comes to the campaign, we will be having protocols. Everyone is being consulted, all the political parties, the command center, the police, the Ministry of Health. So very soon those protocols will be rolled out.
Most definitely.
Most definitely.
That's a good way to go.
Let me see if I have any other. Oh, I'm not going to. Yeah, I cannot. Be nice, viewers. Be nice. Let's take that call. Good night, caller.
Hello, good night.
Thank you for calling Police
Insight.
Sir. Thank you so much.
Yes, I just want to ask a question or advice. Generally, how would you advise someone or citizen to stop a fight already, a fight in progress where weapons are drawn? Let's say cutlass or so. How would you advise how one should stop a fight like that?
You wish to take that on?
Yeah, well, caller, it is important to understand you to know your abilities.
Hello?
Yes, caller, we're saying that it's important that you know your abilities, and you have to be very careful of the situation. Your situational awareness should be heightened, because you do not want to go and try to stop a fight where persons are brandishing weapons or persons have firearms, and you are not sufficiently trained in disarming somebody or de-escalating situations. So what I would advise, if it is something that is not within your capacity to deal with, right, I would advise that you take your cell phone, and as everybody do, you call the police, and you could record the event and make those recordings available to the police. But what I would say to you is that if you are trained in de-escalating situations, and you are a trained person, you know your competence, I would say that it would be a judgment call on yourself that you would have to make, and which should be within your right to decide whether or not you could go in there and dismantle persons who are, or disarm them, and stop the activities happening at the time.
Okay, caller.
Thank you.
Let me see. I have another question here. I want to congratulate all the special police constables who got promoted. I used to be a special police constable and was fortunate to get promoted 5 years ago, during which we had to resign and we lost our service. We had to start back from scratch. The recent promotion, would those SPCs lose their service as well? Because like you said earlier, some persons have been there for more than 20 years. And if they will lose this service, is that something that the police welfare can look into? Are you aware of that?
Well, what I knew used to happen before was that persons when it just started, because remember the upgrades from special police constables to regular constable is a new area for police. It's a grip area, and when it started, they were asking persons to resign, but now we've solidified that, we've rectified that, that there's no resignation, because at the end of the day you are within the same organization, so it's the same file and you just transfer whatever documents that you transfer for salaries and whatnot. So there's no resignation taking place at this point. So maybe that person would have experienced the movement in its new days, but it is something that has been engaged upon, and we are at common positions with it.
Someone here is saying, what's the best way to gain the trust of the people? The police, and they put that in inverted commas, seem to be one-sided. Or isn't that what we usually hear around?
Yeah, and generally persons make those observations from a certain lens. And when the Labour Party is in power,
that's right,
you hear persons say the police are working or supporters of the Labour Party. The WP is in power, then they make the same statement.
Yeah.
But as we've said, caller, earlier, for us to gain the trust of every citizen in this country, we must ensure that we do not engage in selective policing. If persons are doing wrong, we should be in a position, whether we like, and it's our right to support political parties that we wish, but it is our right that when we see as police officers, whether on or off duty, we see persons are breaking the law or persons are doing things that are contrary to the law of the land, we should be in a position to go to them and advise them on. And if what they're doing does not require for you to advise them and requires for you to make an arrest, you make an arrest and you do the necessaries. So the only way we can gain the trust of the citizenry is that we must ensure that we provide a professional service to all citizens in this country.
We have another call? Okay, let's take that call. Although you're already past 10, we'll be ending soon. Good night, caller.
Good night. Zachary and Police Chicot.
Yes, good night, sir.
Something I just want to ask about if police have anything to do investigation, like the letter that circulated, like the Padre letter on Guy, the minister. So I don't know if police have anything to investigate those kind of allegations and things like that.
All right, caller, we've heard this. We've heard questions like that before. What people need to understand is the police is. Caller, you there?
But yeah.
Caller, lower down your volume so I could answer you. People need to understand that the police investigate matters that the law gives us the authority to investigate. And most times, Mr. President, and we've heard this before, it's the silly season. So whenever a politician is perceived to have committed something that people believe is illegal, or should I say criminally illegal, we always get that the police need to just go and investigate it, but that's not the case. The police is guided by statutes, is guided by citations of law. So, caller, not everything that someone might say, a politician or individual, just a normal person, has done that they deem that it is something for the police to investigate and arrest. That is not the case. That is not the case, and we are accustomed to hearing that, Mr. President. That's just part of the
most definitely, and we allow persons to make those
comments. That's okay.
Sometimes maybe in a different forum there are certain things that you may want to entertain and whatnot, but as we know, there are procedures for everything, and then once procedures are followed, and we will do what is necessary.
Okay, I think we'll take the last texting question from the WhatsApp texting platform. With the increasing criminal activity, etc., are responding officers debriefed? And if so, how often are police officers debriefed? Whether this is done or not, can whether this is done or not, can have psychological effects on the officers and their duties.
Of course, most definitely. Debriefings are very important for police officers, especially being witnesses to adverse traumatic situations. So the police would have, through the EAP, we will have in regular debriefings for departments and individuals, but because of the whole coronavirus, we've not been able to. But the Welfare Association has seen the need to speak or to write on having a psychologist attached to the police force, which will and if we can have two, it will be even better because of the numbers that we have at this time. And it's something that we are discussing. We started the conversation with Commissioner Mosheri, and we will continue the conversation in employing two persons or department who is responsible for constant debriefing and to deal with persons who show signs of having psychological issues and who needs to be counseled. So this is something that is important in policing, and as we've said, we are pursuing the idea of having a psychologist employed with the Royal Central Police Force.
Mr. President, well, that's we're not taking no more landline calls and no more WhatsApp texting, but the people on the Facebook chat saying that they should not be left out. So let me see. Okay. All right, this question we could answer. Is it all right for police officers to be attacking people on social media in terms or in the name of politics? I don't know what the individual means by attacking, but I think we know what they're talking
I figure it's to mix it in comments.
Yeah,
and rightfully, it is within somebody's right
as
a citizen to support, but I mean, ethically, you know, when you don't want to put your position, you just don't want to be part of the disrespect or the halikasi that normally takes part in what happens when we hear Politics Act. I think sometimes it is wise to just let certain things lay low, leave certain things on the down low, and to absent yourself from wanting to engage persons for their own position on certain things. Not everybody will like the opposition, not everybody will like the government, and people have the right to make the little statements. And it's the time for Pekong. It's a heightened period where persons are literally calling for elections, and we would ask police officers to refrain from engaging on certain levels as it pertains to statements person make. And I would want to say that some of these things are better done in a personal capacity rather than doing it over the social medias or the various social media platforms.
I so agree. After all, police officers are supposed to be seen as agents of peace and not be contributing to divisive tactics on social media and stuff like that. Mr. President, we've come to the end of the show. Final comments?
Oh yeah, well, I'd like to say a pleasant good evening to all members. First off, Zach, I would like to recognize Miss Keisha Mitchell, who is one of our latest graduates in the Department of Criminal Justice.
Okay.
Also, my wife and myself, we would have graduated together from the college.
Well,
and
congratulations.
Yeah, and I just want to encourage police officers that the sky is the limit, and nothing is impossible if you really want to achieve it. Nothing is impossible if you really want to to enhance yourself and what you want to do for yourself. So we encourage members to take that line. Also today we want to say happy birthday to the Sins of Crime Unit. They celebrate 19 years today with Sergeant Mesmin, who is the longest serving crime scene member, who's been working there for 19 years.
Wow.
We have founders like Mr. Wayne Shari, our DCP, ASP Roberts. We have persons like Cameron Law, past president of the Police Welfare Association, Rias Wilfred, Duvani, Dennis, who have retired and left and moved on. So we have Sergeant Emmanuel Mikud, who would have been the Sergeant Fontenelle as well. So 19 years ago, we saw a new department coming to the police force, and they've served us well. We've seen a new standard in investigations when it comes to serious crimes, homicides, and also some petty crimes where it is necessary to have them involved in. And we know that they'll be transitioning pretty soon, coming out of of one stage to go into another stage where they should be moving to the forensic unit, which it would be the lab and whatnot. So we want to say happy birthday to them. We want to say congratulations, job well done, and we want to specifically recognize Sergeant Mesmin, who would have been there from the inception.
Okay, thank you so much for being my guest tonight, Mr. President. Always a pleasure. Once again, we've come to the excellent end, exciting end of Police Insight. Thank you for all those who WhatsApp, text, commented, called the show. The organization, we're always there to assist, always there to reach out to you, the public. So thank you for continuously walking this path of law enforcement and making St. Lucia a better place for everybody in St. Lucia. Stay safe. See you next Tuesday.